Welcome everyone back to yet another episode of Learn Software Development. Previously I've been promising that I'd make videos on functions and classes and dictionaries, but I wasn't quite sure how I'd go about them in a way that would be interesting and meaningful. So what I'll do instead is not have a specific lesson on, for example, functions, but I'll teach them as we build something of our own, get our hands more familiar with Godot and developing some actual application and not just a hello world thing, and demoing things that can get kind of boring and without any final result that might be fun to, work around or play with. So what I'm gonna do now is start building the main project that I'll be working with during this course, during the rest of the course, and that is to build a checkers game. I was originally thinking that I'd do some 2D stuff, mainly as the first application, like some library reservation thing or inventory thing, but they all seemed kind of boring, even for myself. It's kind of hard to see me doing that for a long time and enjoying it. So I thought that I'd do something that I haven't done before, and that's creating a full 3D application with Godot. It's going to have 2D elements with a graphical user interface as well, but it's also going to actually have some interactions within the 3D space. And that will do by doing the checkers game. So checkers is an old classic game with black and white round pieces that you move around trying to eliminate the other color, and you have a board with black and white squares. One of the oldest board games in history. Don't go, checking what is the actual oldest one. I have no idea, but I know that it is very old. And it has some basic rules, less rules to follow than in chess, for example. So I'll give that a go. Alright, so let's go ahead and open Godot. I checked earlier that the latest stable version of Godot was 4.1.1, which is what I used at least in the previous video, so let's go ahead and open that one. And here we are. And those of you who watched my previous video, you'll notice that I have the theme selected, which is not the default theme, but I think this was solarized dark. And that's the theme I selected for my Godot engine. So check out the previous video if you want to see what happened there and why this color is not the default one you get with Godot. Alright, but now we're not going to the Hello World project. We'll leave that as it is, and we'll create a new project called Checkers. So let's create the new project by going to the plus sign, new project, and here I'm going to go select the project path first. I don't want to create this name folder and this project name as new game project here, which is the project path. I have a very specific place to which I want to put it to. So let's go over there now. It is here, and I have software for this course. And let's select here. And we don't want to call it software. It picked up the name of the folder as a project name. That's not what we want to do. We want to call this, let's put it caps, checkers, there. And then we want to create a folder under software called checkers under the name of the project. So let's click that, and we get checkers. Oh, but now it's with a capital C there. Not my favorite. Maybe what I'm going to do now is cancel, and I'll delete. Oh, it didn't create it yet. Okay, nice. And let's just navigate back there. Alright, select current folder, not software, and checkers. Keep it all small. Create folder. There. Now there's no caps, just the way I like it. Create and edit. So now I created it, and now we get to edit it. So essentially going to the engine itself and building things. And here we are. Now let's start by creating the building blocks that we'll need for this. I already have some experience with game engines, not much, but some. So that's why also there's a nice way for you guys to see and pick and learn how does my mind, for example, a software developer's mind, work when they are faced with a new challenge, which is something that they're usually faced with. You rarely get a challenge of solving something you've solved before. So facing those and dealing with those is also important. First things first, I'm going to actually change the layout here. The inspector is on the right. And for those of you who watched my previous video, I don't like it this way, for the reasons I explained there. Go check that out if you want to find out more. But what I can do is, I should have here my favorite layout, which I created in the previous video. And there, now things are where they should be, or where I like them to be. And what I'm going to start off doing first is, I'm going to create a main scene first. And then I'm going to create a scene where I create the checkers board. So the scene inheritance thing, or importing, instancing a scene, is something that helps you keep things containerized, your logic and your pieces, your building blocks separate, and it makes it easier to maintain things. It'll become clear as we go along. So first things first, I'm going to create a 3D scene. It's going to call the main scene, so the root node, kind of the first node in here to which everything is a child of, most likely. I'm going to create a node called main. And I'm going to now Control S to save this scene. And yeah, I can go there and it picks up main from the name of the node at the root, and small m, good as it should be based on naming convention, and save. All right, now we have main. But we're not doing anything else here yet. This is just so that I don't forget to do it. Now we're going to go here to this plus and add a new scene. Now you can get back to main from here, and here's the empty one. This is also going to be a 3D scene, but this is actually going to be, oh yeah, let's put a basic 3D node 3D first. And let's call this one board. Class names, and these are also classes, they should be named in Pascal case, in good GD script naming convention, so I try to follow that. That's why this is caps, and then when you save, it should be snake case based on the naming convention for GD script, which you can find from the Godot docs. Go check that out. But there's the board, and the board is going to be comprised of black and white tiles, and let's start by building, for example, a white square and use those as tiles. So now that I have this board, which just does nothing, there's nothing to see really, I'm gonna create something that's called meshes. Meshes are things that you can have shaded, and shading is like bringing something visible, and you can attach materials to them. So what I'm going to do is add a child node, and then you can search from here for mesh, or then I can go, I think it's visual instance, there's lights, geometry instance 3D, sprite base mesh instance, I think, yeah, soft body, deformable instances meshes into scenario. This should be the one we have. Multimesh. I think this should be enough. I can actually check the docs for what is multi-mesh. Let's see. Low-level mesh instancing, drawing thousands of mesh instance 3D nodes can be slow, since each object is submitted to the GPU then drawn individually. Multi-mesh is much faster as it can draw thousands of instances in a single draw call, resulting in less API overhead. As a drawback, if the instances are too far away from each other, performance may be reduced as every single instance will always render. Okay. Okay. Well, multi-mesh might be useful for us. For the board, we got black and white, but I think I'm just going to keep it simple now and go with mesh. As I said, there's quite a lot of new things here for me as well. So this is a class most often used 3D geometry. Reusing geometry, which can save on resources when mesh has to be instantiated more than thousands of times at close, thousands of times. Okay, so we're not going to do thousands, so it kind of tells you here. And then there's some online tutorials on doing that. So let's go with this one. So again, let's go back to 3D view from the top here and add a child node and mesh instance 3D. All right, and now we still don't see anything. Well, that's because we don't have any mesh yet. Skeleton skin, yeah, let's go and create a new mesh. I think we're gonna go with box. Quad mesh. So many new things here, but I think box would work. Box looks nice. And then I'm now moving this around with my middle mouse button to see things. And if I don't want to see these edges, yeah, now you can see if I don't click somewhere to the side, then I don't see all of the edges highlighted. Now it looks as if it's transparent when it's not. But all right, what I'm gonna do now is I'm going to change the shape of this. Let's see. I have mesh instance 3D, and if I want to change its size, transform, here we go. So there I can create the scales on the X and the Y and the Z axes. If I put this to 0.5, okay, everything went down because they're linked. So Y is this one. I want to make it flat. So let's make this like 0.1. There. I think that looks, it's a nice looking tile. All right, so now we have a white tile. Now we need a black tile. And now this one actually should be called, let's rename this. Where's rename? Rename there, F2. Let's call this white. And then I'm gonna have more of these. So let's see. Oh, let's start with white 001. Let's maybe think of better names as we go along. And now I think it looks white because, yeah, there's these material things. So let's ensure that it's going to be white by, let's see, can we edit this? What does it give us? Material here. All right, so if I did this, okay, I can go back from here. It had the material thing here, surface material override. So let's make a new standard material 3D. And now from here I can save this one. Let's save this material. Let's call this white tile. Yeah. And we don't know if it's material or not, so let's call it material. Maybe I'll prefix it with material. Material white tile. So now I know that it's material. Like, I think all the resources are res, and there's many different types of resources you can have. So now if I edit this one, here I can change a lot of things. Shading, vertex color, maybe this one can change the color of it, yeah. So here I can have like white, gray, red, pinkish, purple thing. But I actually just want it to be white, so just put it up there. Let's make it a bit grayer. Not completely white. It's gonna look unnatural. Let's put it there. And now what we're gonna do is save the current. So now it's saved it here, so we don't lose this. And now this one has white. Good. White 001. Now we're gonna copy paste. So Control C, Control V. Okay, now it went as a child of that one. We want it to be here. Oh, Godot is smart. It named it white too. Okay, and if I move this one around, now we have two whites. Nice. Okay, but why is it transform 1, 0.1, 0.01? Should be 0.1. There. Okay, now it's the same size. But let's make this one actually black. All right, now if I press Shift and drag with the middle mouse button, then I can, you know, move the plane and not my view of it. Now I'm going to change this to be orthogonal. And for this, I could actually also use a keypad. If I have this attached, that is. Alright, so with a keypad I can change a separate keypad that you have the keypad buttons on the keyboard. You can use these quick keys, so like change the view, which can come in handy. So with like KP5, I can change from perspective to orthogonal. So perspective takes in your angle, and well, perspective anyways, like things get smaller as they go further. With orthogonal, you don't get any of that. So it'll help you align things better. So now if I want to go to top view, which is also a keypad 7, 9 is something else with the bottom. So top orthogonal, orthogonal. Okay, but yeah, top orthogonal, that's what I want. And this will help me if I scroll in and zoom. Oops. Press 7, Shift and middle button. I can put this in very close to this. Of course, I can also do it like this. And now there's a small gap. I could, of course, let's change like left view. Nope, it's not good. Front view, yeah. I could, of course, calculate for black what's its position, like on the x-axis. Now it's 1.007, or even closer, like meters. But if it's 1 and it's measuring the position from the center, and the center of white is 0, and scale, so its size on the x is 1. So if I put black to be positioned in 1, it should be exactly like 1 meter away from white. That means the gap should disappear there. And now there's no gap between the two tiles. And if I press keypad 7, what happened? What did I do? Control Z. Okay, press keypad 7, there. Go to top orthogonal. Top orthogonal. Might be pronouncing that wrong, need to check that out. But now I can change the material. So I'm gonna go and let's see, surface material override. Oh, skeleton. Okay. Wonder what that is. But let's all right, let's reset that and go to the shader. Let's edit this one, and then we're gonna save as. Let's see. Let's go back. Let's make a new one, and then now let's edit. And now it's called Standard Material 3D. Now we have a new one, so we don't touch the white material. Let's first save. Oh, there was save as there. I could have done it there. Okay. Oh well. We'll do it next time. Material black tile. Save. And now it was here in albedo. And now if we go here, we can make it black. Maybe a bit grayish, but essentially very close to black. And now we have our tiles. And this is how we can create the things. And now let's actually change back to perspective, and now it looks a bit more natural. Cool. So we've got our first tiles here. Now these things can of course be created from code as well, but that's going to be a bit more work. We only need one board. So for now, I think I'm just going to go ahead and build the entire board with these tiles. And I'll speed things up in the video at this part, because it's going to be boring to see me do this many times over in real time. But you guys, of course, can't speed it up. If I do come up with a solution to do this programmatically, I might put that in, but I don't think I'll have the energy to do that. So off we go to building a board. And so I'm researching this. Actually, the black one is supposed to be in the left corner if this is bottom left, but we can actually think of this being as top left corner as well. Doesn't really matter. And in checkers you had, I think you had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 8 by 8 board. So let's go ahead and copy things away. So actually I'm going to select both of these, select board and paste. And now with both of them selected, let's move around here. And now I can transform and put them to exactly 2, because it's 2 away from there. Did it do it to both of them? Let's see, transform, that should be 2. Black should be 3. There. And now copy all of these, paste them. All right, and now white 3. It's gonna go to 4. Black 3 is gonna go to 5. White 4 is gonna go to 6. Black 4 is gonna go to 7. Oh, let's see, I might not even speed this up, as this is actually going on pretty easy. Maybe I'm gonna go renaming these. Actually, let's put this like row, which is gonna be 8, so row 1 tile 1. It's going to be white. And then let's rename all of these. All right, and then the next one is going to be identical, but it's going to have things the other way around. So let's copy this entire row, paste it, and of course this is going to continue by tile 9 and so on. So I'm going to adjust those later. But first I'm going to pull this out, and these are actually all going to have the same, like this position should be 1. There, that was easy to align. And now I'm going to need to rotate it all. So it's going to rotate on the, here we see this, it's going to rotate on the y-axis. So y is pointing up like this way, but we're going to rotate around that one. And we're going to rotate it by 180 degrees, a full half circle. Oh, of course, that's not going to help because they would have spun on their, like if I put 45, then they're all going to be like this. So didn't do anything there. Okay, it's not this whole thing that rotates, it's all of those things separately, which brings to mind that I might actually do a little more instancing. So what I'm going to do is I'll delete these. And then I'm going to rename these to just tile 1. And actually I like to rename, like have like at least like 0, 1, or like if we go to 10, it's like gonna be easier. Whatever. Just call it tile 1, tile 2, and I can actually just, see, I don't have on this keyboard any F buttons, but I can just take that off instead of typing the whole thing. Well, pretty much the same time. Okay, save this. So it's still unsaved. Whoops. Let's call this this is actually board row. Oh, board row. Now I'm going to rename this to be board row. All right, save that. And now we're going to create another 3D scene and rename this as board. And now we have the chance of instantiate child scene. So we're going to bring in a scene to a scene. This is what I was talking about earlier. So now this scene here, this board row, is here as an instance. And if I do changes to board row, it should appear here. So if I, for example, do something like rotate this one tile and save, then it's visible here. It also rotated here. Pretty cool. Now I want to reset that one, save, and then it changes here. So whenever I change something to board row, it changes that thing to all of the instances of board row. But why did I want to do board row? Well, that was to make the next things easier. So this is actually going to rename this as row 1. And now I'm going to copy and paste this 8 times. 2, 3, oops, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And we're going to have 8 rows in the board. Now I'm going to select row 2, and along the Z-axis, I want to move it by 1 meter. So let's check that, and 1, good. And now I want to flip this around. So I'm going to rotate it 180 degrees. And now it rotates the entire instance, the entire scene, not those separate tiles. So now black is first and white is last. But it placed the origin of the scene here. So that means I'm going to need to move it along the x-axis. And I need to move it by 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, probably 7 meters. Let's see. Yeah, like this. And then if I go to top view, starting to look like a board to me. Now row 3, we don't need to turn it around. We just need to move it by 1, 2 meters on the Z So let's go and put 2 here. Row 4, let's select it from here. And this is exactly what I mentioned in my previous video of more having to select a node here and then change its properties than to actually, do stuff here. And there's much less physical mouse movement, cursor movement across the board when they're next to each other. This is the flow I was talking about. All right, 4 is still here. As you can see, 3 is pointing here. 4 is highlighted here. It's in the wrong place. So we'll need to bring that out by 1, 2, 3 meters. And this will need to flip, so let's flip it 180 degrees, and then 7 meters on this, and now it aligns perfectly. This one we'll just need to bring down 1, 2, 3, 4 meters. Let's start 5 meters. Let's just put all of these ones first. 6 meters and 7. Why am I saying meters? Well, there's an M over here. Now this looks like a glitch over here. Pretty fun. So let's see which row is the next one that we'll need to change. It's going to be row 5. Nope, wait. Row 4. 5 is fine. 6. Row 6. So this one, we already know this needs to be 7, and then we flip it here 180 degrees. Perfect. That's fine, and this one is the last one, so 7 and rotate 180 degrees on the 80 degrees on that one, and there we have a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 by 1, 2, 3, 4, 8 board complete. There. And now this is still unsaved, this scene, so let's save the scene, Control S, or just, save, whatever, right click save or save from scene, but it's this Control S applies to the scene you're at. There's board row, and now it's board.tscn, save, cool. And now we come back to main, and we're going to instantiate a child scene again, and this time we're going to bring in the board. And there it is. Voila. We have our board. And then the changes we do to board apply here. I actually want to check if I change something here. If I change the position of all of these to the middle like this, what happens here? Right. It affects it here as well, as I thought. So let's just leave that there, in the correct spot. Yeah, I don't mind having it counting those things from there. It's not really that much of a problem, I guess. Here I can just move the board if I wanted to have it like in the middle of the world. Let's just go top orthogonal again. Then I can go transform and move this like 1, 2, 3.5 on the X, minus 3.5, because we're going left, and this is positive, this is negative, so minus 3.5, good. And then on the Z axis, we want to bring it 1, 2, 3, 4. Minus 3.5 here as well, so Z minus 3.5. And now it's in the middle of the world, so it is what it's going to look like. And this is the kind of camera view we probably want to give in the game as well when we're playing. So next we're going to go and look at some cameras and lightings, but this has already been a fairly long video, so I'm going to stop recording here, and next time we'll continue off from here. We're still not coding, but we are creating software, and we're going to create the pieces for the game. So those checker pieces, the round circle pieces, and try to get them to work as planned. See if we'll add some collisions or not. Those are actually some special effects, so maybe now we'll just create the illusion of things being on top by just having them float and hover around, but let's do that next time. This has already been quite a lot for me to learn as well, and it turned out to be pretty good. I'm a little surprised myself at how easy this went. But thanks for watching. Next time we'll continue with this project and build in the pieces that are used in the game, black and white ones, and then bring them here to this game. And then if things don't take too long there, we're gonna have some camera and lighting added as well, because right now, if I play the scene, it's gray, and that's because we're missing camera, and after that we're gonna need some lights as well. So more on that next time. Let's see that everything is saved, no asterisks everywhere. Time to close the project. There. Thank you everyone, and until next time, goodbye.